Uh, okay, guys, I believe we can start. Let me kick that off. I'll share my presentation and we're ready to go. Okay, guys, so I hope you can see my screen. Today we'll discuss like two topics. First one, we'll just review market opportunity in Europe for you and your brand, how you can launch in Europe your products, transition them from Amazon US into Europe, and the second part of how Accel Club can help you with that. So let's just start with a quick market overview. So here on the slide, you can see that Europe, Amazon Europe actually represents almost $100 billion opportunity for you as a seller. So if we look at that number in some kind of vacuum, it looks like a very big number. But when you actually start comparing it to the US market, it's only like 24% of the US sales. Here on the slide, you can see that actually Amazon size in North America and US is almost $353 billion, while in Europe, it's still 89 billion. So let's just jump on one level higher to take a look at e-commerce market size. And actually, we can see that e-commerce market size is pretty comparable. Like while e-commerce market size in US slightly above like $1,100 billion, in US it's 900. So that's very comparable. But actually, like the thing is an Amazon market share. And you can see that in North America and US specifically, Amazon market share is already 32%, which is like kind of high percentage. And they own like 32% of the whole US market. While in Europe, since Amazon started Amazon Europe a bit later than America, people are still getting used to that. And Europeans are still getting used to Amazon. And that's why like Amazon market share is only 10%. And what that actually means, yes, we all know how great Amazon is in the United States. And in Europe, it just starts to catching up the pace and it grows like every year. So, for example, several years ago, Amazon market share in Europe was only 10%, only 5%, and now it's 2 times higher. And given the fact, like, what an excellent service Amazon provides to its customers. Guys, can you see my presentation? I'm sorry. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so Amazon market share in Europe is only 10%, but it's catching up quickly. And that actually means that Amazon will just keep increasing their market share in Europe, given the fact that they have the most excellent customer service among other marketplaces, loyalty bonuses such as Amazon Prime. Amazon European market share definitely has a big potential to grow. And that's what we see, and that's what we can see historically. Like they're growing much higher tempo than Amazon North America. And that's where opportunity actually is. Even though a market looks small compared to Amazon US, it can be much bigger in the future years and grow at a much higher tempo. Let's see like what actually stops you from selling Amazon Europe right now. So the main thing, when you compare Amazon US and Amazon Europe, the market looks comparably like European market looks comparably small to US market. And that's a fair point. But we already know that actually e-commerce size is pretty comparable. Plus, market share like for Amazon is very low, and it will catch up. And that's your chance to catch that organic growth and to jump off on that wave of organic growth. And the earlier you start, the more market share advantage you'll have in the future when Amazon will continue growing organically. So as I said, like besides that, there are also much more things that are kind of complicated with European market. Like obviously, when you need to expand, you need to hire new people, you need to look for new cash to finance your working capital. Also, there are lots of specific compliance risks connected to Europe, which you have to deep dive into. So let's take a look at how we can help you with that. So basically, Accel Club and me, we particularly offer you an easy way to try European market completely at zero expense for you as a seller. So what we propose, we already have like an established VAT and legal structure, and we'll basically assess your brand. We'll take a look at your brand, and then we'll place you a first order. So it starts with, we are looking at your brand, your product fits, then we place an order, we purchase your inventory, and we cover all costs related to that expansion. So after we purchase inventory, we will do any compliance checks and all certificates if they're needed to be done. Then we'll ship product completely at our expense and further manage it on Amazon, doing PPC, listing localization, and all of the other stuff is necessary for Amazon. And what is your benefit as a seller? In the end of each month, we'll share like a percentage review. So basically, you give us your brand equity. You give us already established product on Amazon US. We transfer it into Europe. And then we bring in our experience in European market and our understanding of that market and cash to make it much easier for you. So there is a huge upside for you that you can concentrate on US market while outsourcing the momentum of the growth on European market to us. And at the end of each month, we'll just simply share a percentage of profit with you. Basically, as simple as that. Here are some products that we expanded to Europe. You can check all of them on Amazon live right now in UK, both in Germany, and they became bestsellers in their own markets, like as far as like 3 to 4 months. We were able to make them top sellers in their own niches. So first brand, you can see Artistra was very successful for us in Europe, and the second brand is Sportbit. There are much more brands that we expanded. I will be more than happy to share these cases. Only this year, we already expanded more than 30 brands into European market. And that will be it for my part, guys. Happy to pass my word and happy if you reach out to me through LinkedIn or email. Always happy to chat and see how I can help you and how Accel Club actually can help you get into Europe. Thanks, guys.
Well done. Awesome. Let me know if you can see my screen. I'm about to share here. Can everyone see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So hi, everybody. I am Chad. I've been in this space for about 17 years. I have my own e-commerce business. We manufacture vacuum filters, coffee filters. We sell actually exclusively on Amazon, about 500 SKUs. I also co-founded the Prosper Show, sold that in 2019. Also, Stubana, I sold that in 21. So I've started Profasee out of my own pain, and we've been dog fooding really ever since and building around our own pain points and problems. So if you back it up, like it's been kind of insane. And a lot of Amazon brands have been under a massive amount of pressure on their P&L. So every line item on the P&L has been crunched and really, really compressed. And so that's really what I want to talk about today is around how to use pricing as a lever to your advantage. Remember, I started Profasee out of my own problems as a business. And this is my e-commerce business revenue. My profit pretty much looks the same as it was just dropping. Everything was dropping while ad spend was remaining the same. And so everything was off in the business. And I've really pulled every lever that a guru would recommend and still had problems in the business. It turns out I wasn't alone. There's lots of other companies out there, aggregators, brands. This isn't just to just call out aggregators, but a lot of brands are actually in the crossfire right now, and they're not all going to make it, right? And so the question is, how can we actually use pricing to your advantage? So first thing I want to address, I think this is very, very important here, is that most brands actually just set price by looking at what other people are doing on the marketplace. And that is the wrong behavior because you're copying somebody who's copied their price to be competitive, yet you're copying people that are already broke. And so people don't change price on Amazon because they're misinformed. There's a lot of fear around it. Perhaps they're concerned about suppression and they're just not paying attention to it because they pay attention to what they're being guided to from Amazon. And Amazon doesn't guide you towards pricing. They don't make money on pricing. They make money on ad spend or driving traffic to their platform that they capitalize on. And so I'm here to set the record straight that actually there's massive opportunity to adjust price. It won't plummet, and you have to do it consciously and smartly. And so today I kind of want to talk about making decisions without fear, right? And a lot of people don't question these decisions that they're making. And so changing pricing is actually very easy. It's actually validating those changes that are really hard. And so I've been working on a pricing framework. This is what I actually built for my own business. And you can see every line item here that's necessary to figure out, am I making the right intentional price on the specific SKU? And you can see all, this is just for one ASIN. You can see all the different line items that you would need to edit to figure out, okay, am I trying to maximize profit? Am I trying to maximize my BSR? Am I trying to liquidate the product? Am I trying to hit a specific velocity? And so you'd have to take all these inputs into account. And on top of that, you have to actually pull in your competitor information because changes on Amazon don't happen in a vacuum. So one of the things I want to do is right away give away on this call. If you're listening in and tuning in, just email me. Email me pricing optimization, and I'll actually send you this spreadsheet if you want to do some of this manually. It's for free. I'll send you the spreadsheet file, and you'll get it to use. So going back here, a lot of people are like, well, you know what? We can just increase price by $1, but the question is that the right optimal price increase? And so if you do math on just even $1 increase on this, say, garlic press, it does quite well on Amazon, you actually see that just by $1, small lever that swings a big door, you'll see a 12% increase in profit. That's $3,400 monthly. That's $40,000 annually. And then, of course, if you're selling your business and we apply a conservative 4x multiple to that, that's an increase of $163,000 of enterprise value. So making price changes and finding in the nooks and crannies opportunity is how I think all opportunities and how all money is made in business. Pricing is just a part of that. They don't need to be big price changes, and you don't have to actually spend more to make these price changes. All those changes drop to the bottom line. So you just have to pay a little bit more attention to pricing and connect the dots and essentially give it a bigger seat at the table. Now, some might say, just raise your prices. There's a lot of people out there that just say raise your prices, and that's actually a problematic strategy that is actually a lot of times just based on the misinformation, right? It's a destructive strategy because there's a sequence of events that happen. If you make a price change that Amazon doesn't like, it could affect your discoverability. So the idea is maybe you want to lower price, and by lowering price, you may spur more demand. So lowering price gets more demand, and you might increase your velocity, offsetting the lower price. And on top of that, the knock-on effect and the second order of consequence could be that actually you make a better BSR. Essentially, your competitive positioning improves over time, where you don't need to spend so much on PPC and you get better organic placement. So the challenge is really like coming up with the right amount of data to make those decisions, scraping and pulling that data from Amazon and from your competitors to essentially see all the different things that you need to happen to make it work. So one of the things I want to shout out in the last, I think I have like 3 minutes left, is the fact that if you don't want to go through that hassle, if you don't want to figure all of that out, something that Profasee can do for you. So you can see we've got some case studies. Typically at Profasee, we see an increase of profit on average by 10 to 15%. And that's without you doing much, actually. And we have a Profasee guarantee where we promise you 3x ROI, or we keep working for free until you do. So here's an example of someone who's in the space, very vocal person with a supplement business. And you can see what happened when we made price changes. The red line is his profit this year. And the bigger that gap with the blue line, which is profit last year, based on the price changes that we made, is the actual arbitrage opportunity of us capitalizing on more profits and the missed profit opportunity that he wasn't getting on the platform. Now, if we actually go to his listing, I love doing this because essentially it tells a lot about the story. Let's drop it down here. and look at the cheapest stats. If we go for 1 year, you'll see here, or actually all time, he was never making price changes. And if you look at the green line, that was his BSR. So the green is his BSR, the pink is price. He wasn't making price changes. We took over, we started making price changes, and looked at the drops of this BSR. BSR was dropping, and also that profit gap opportunity, as you saw in the previous slide, we capitalized on it. We found that there was more pricing power that he had. We increased price here, and we've even further more increased price. This is a 7-figure opportunity that we capitalized on. We charge a flat fee, and this is just an example of the work that we do at Profasee. We have got countless case studies on our website that show us making more money for different people, different brands on Amazon. We only work with private label brands. So the way that we do it is we collect all that data that you saw in that spreadsheet. We collect it, we enrich it, we pull your competitors by doing a reverse ASIN lookup. We test pricing at scale, and we do that for 30 days to train the model. It's like if you go on Instagram or Facebook and you never make a change to price, or to never click on anybody, you never watch a video on Twitter or Instagram, or even watch something on Netflix, the algorithm doesn't know what to serve you. In that same way, we test to see how Amazon reacts to price changes, how your competition reacts to price changes, and your customers. Then we deploy those changes to the market for the optimal price, with the intention whether you want to make more profit on the SKU, you want to sell more unit velocity, or you want to make more revenue. And we rinse, wash, and repeat, and we guarantee a 3x ROI, where we keep working for free until we do. That's all I got to share today. I hope this was eye-opening for you guys. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me. My personal email is chad@profasee.com. Feel free to email me there. Feel free to click on that QR code. If you're interested in Profasee, you get a 50% discount for the entire year. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, posting thoughts on the space. And thank you so much. Appreciate everyone's time. Back over to you guys.
Yeah. Who is next? Me?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. Cool. So I will just share my screen. Yeah. So hi, my name is Amit Rosenthal. I'm the founder and CEO of Proboxx. Proboxx provides logistics services, logistics and supply chain services, basically, for Amazon e-commerce sellers. We focus, I would say 90% of our clients are Amazon sellers. And today I would like to discuss or to explain the difference in terms of logistics between doing logistics to Amazon US and contrary to Amazon Europe, because there is a major difference. And I will try to dive into some of the changes between the marketplaces. Okay, so that side basically that side Klim already showed. So just here in that case, when I want to see the difference in market share. So we see that in 2023 on Amazon US, almost $400 billion in sales. In Germany, about, let's say, 37.5 billion. In UK, about 33.5. And Japan is not really relevant now, and the rest of the world is about like 14%. So again, the EU market is enormous opportunity, and definitely people should explore going into Europe. So to me, the main issue is with DDP and DDU. Now, I don't want to go too much into cover what's the difference between DDP to DDU, but I assume that at least 70% or even higher in terms of percentage of sellers that selling also in the US market and in Europe, when they're selling in US market, they're doing DDP. Basically, DDP means that you're getting from your forwarder all-in rate. The rate is inclusive the duty and the taxes, all right? On contrary, DDU, meaning that you paying the freight separately and you're paying the duty and the taxes separately upon clearance at the destination country. The main difference between DDP and DDU between America and Europe is that in Europe you have to pay VAT. VAT depend on the country, but it's something between 90% and 21%. Maybe Klim can elaborate a little bit more. If I'm not mistaken, in Germany is 21%, in UK is 20%, and so on. But VAT, as a seller, you should claim it back. One of the biggest things that we see at Proboxx is that sellers clear the goods or request from freight forwarder to clear the goods under DDP. The main problem is that if you import the goods under DDP into Europe, rather if it's to Germany, to UK, or other countries in Europe, you will not be able to claim back the VAT. And the VAT is a huge, huge percentage from the import summary, right? Sometimes, and I will show later an example, but sometimes the same HTS code can have, let's say, 2% duty and 20% or 21% VAT. So the total value of the import summary can be, let's say, about 4,000 or 5,000 euro, and 90% of the portion of that is VAT, which under DDP you will not be able to claim back, right? Now I know sellers, some sellers thinking, okay, let's say I'm pricing my product with, I don't know, 30 euro. So once every sale is made, Amazon deduct this from our rate, but it's not the same, okay? When you import goods into the country, you have legally pay the duty and the VAT, okay? So if you import the goods under DDP, you will not receive the import summary from the broker. You will not be able to claim back the VAT, and you're basically losing ton and ton and ton of money. In a few slides, I will show how you can basically clear the goods under postponed VAT, and I will explain the advantage in doing so, and why you should ask for your freight forwarder rather to do a deferred VAT process. Let's say in Germany or in UK, it's called PVA, postponed VAT accounting, okay? In this slide, I want to show the difference when you classify the product between America to Europe, the difference just in the duty percentage, okay? So I took two examples of two products that we sell to that we basically import in behalf of our clients, of Proboxx clients. So we take neck pillow. This is the HTS code 9404.90. We see that in UK, it's 2% duty. In Germany, it's 3.7% duty. And in US, it's 12.8% duty, okay? Doglish, HTS code 4201. UK 5% duty, Germany 2.7% duty, and in US it's 27.4% duty, okay? So what I'm trying to say in that case is when you import the goods to America, the first thing that you need to do when you approach a freight forwarder is to ask for the classification of the product, because you want to know as a seller what's going to be the duty ratio that you're going to pay and how much it's going to cut from eventually the total revenue you can gain in a specific product in a specific marketplace. So if you import a product into America and you think you understand and you know the HTS code and you think it will be applied the same ratio, duty ratio in Europe, so you are mistake, okay? So verify this with your broker. Okay, I see I have like 2 minutes left or 3 minutes. So I explain now about the deferred VAT or the PVA accounting process for clearance, okay? When a goods arrive to Germany, UK, or wherever it is, you can request your forwarder to basically postpone the VAT. That means that upon entrance and upon goods are being cleared from customs, you will pay only the duty. The VAT will be on 0%, and later on you can request it back from the authorities, right? The main advantage is simply a cash flow, a better cash flow. So instead of paying 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 and above, just the VAT upon entrance to the country before you even selling one unit, you can clear the goods under deferred VAT or PVA VAT accounting and basically postpone the payment of the VAT. So you don't need to pay this on the entrance, but later on upon sale, you will be deduct from the VAT. So that's a huge, huge, huge advantage. And I highly, highly, highly recommend for sellers going into Europe to request their freight forwarder to ensure the clearance will be processed under a PVA or deferred VAT accounting. Last thing, maybe we talk a little bit about transit time, modes of shipping. So if you're shipping between China, let's consider China now, of course, the main hub for sourcing for most of Amazon sellers. You can send the goods by ship or by air only to America. With Europe, you can also use rail mode, which of course the cost will be much lower compared to the alternative. I would say that transit time to Europe is significantly longer compared to America, especially now with all the political issues going on in the Middle East. There is a long delays, long route. Vessels need to basically bypass all of Africa in order to go to Europe. So transit time is longer. You have to calculate the transit time in order to keep your stock in and stock available. So be sure that you're checking with your freight forwarder as well what's going to be the transit time and how long this process will take. Again, beside that, key takeaways: use DDU to Europe. Make sure, especially for UK, when you create a shipping plan, Amazon requests the MRN number, which is the import summary number. So doing DDP will not receive it, and you will be you can force to pay a huge fine by Amazon because you didn't provide this MRN number. Optimize your shipping plan based on the transit time and how long would it take to ship it out from the original to Europe. And beside that, you can contact us rather via email. You can check our LinkedIn. You can check our YouTube channel. You can send an email to myself directly at Amit, AMIT, at Proboxx, PROBOXX.io. And good luck to everybody.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks. Yeah, European logistics are very complicated. That's true.
More complicated, let me put it this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my turn, right?
Yes, Yalchin.
Hello guys, I'm Yalchin. I have my own brands. I have 2 brands, and I'm also working with Turkish factories. I help them to sell their product in USA, especially on Amazon, and some of them in Europe as well. And also I'm working with SellerSprite. Maybe you heard, maybe not. Today we are gonna talk about the SellerSprite and what we can do some magic stuff with SellerSprite. Did you guys hear before about the SellerSprite?
Yeah,
maybe not. Klim, you should. SellerSprite is the Amazon data analysis tool for private label sellers from China since 2016. And we have all the traditional tools like keyword, product research, etc. But today I'm going to talk some magic stuff. For example, I searched in the UK. I can search any keyword for any marketplaces. For example, I am searching baby bike, and then I can click any products to see their PPC inside. For example, any product, you can select the guys. You see here ads inside. I click here, and basically we take this ASIN and see this guy has 15 campaigns and 46 ad groups. If you want to see what the search terms out there, you can bring your mouse over, and for example, I understand this is the exact campaign because over the time, I see always there is only one keyword, and this is different weeks. If you would like to see monthly, you can just switch from here and just to see monthly like this, and this most probably exact campaign, and you can go and see any keyword. For example, if you would like to see these 9 search terms, just click it. I will pull data and indicate all the keywords, which keywords out there, and what was sponsor rank and organic rank for this particular ASIN for this any keywords. This is the first thing I would like to talk. Next, you can select any ASIN I can analyze. Let's go with this one, bestseller. You see, most of the time we need to analyze competitor before special launching any product, and the first thing we always need to analyze the reviews. We need to either read all those reviews, or we can utilize SellerSprite Chrome extension. It works with AI. I run it and it will be ready in 1 or 2 minutes. What we basically do, take all these reviews, 9100 reviews, and put on the backend to ChatGPT all these reviews and ratings, everything. And then we analyze and then create a report for you. When there is the ratings for any particular child ASIN, we cannot detect it. Like this ASIN got how many 4-star reviews, but by utilizing SellerSprite, you can see how many ratings and the reviews each single ASIN has. Furthermore, we go down and they understand, there are 60% male and 40% female reviewers. And they're the main question you can see from here, like who 45% parents, grandparents, and aunts. Or if you would like to see what purpose they used, and you can see from here. And then let's go down. You can see usage scenario, where the people use it, indoor, outdoor, and their percentage. Like customer expectation, what the customer expected before purchasing this product, pros or cons, what the reason. You can analyze and find out every single detail related with your competitors or the product. It's very easy to utilize, and it's crazy time saving. You just run Chrome extension in 2 minutes, you can understand what's going on with this product. And the next one, if you would like to understand, for example, this guy has several single child ASIN, but you don't know which one is selling better. Most of the other tools, they are going to show you all together. All the sales are same, but SellerSprite can show every single ASIN sales. For example, first one made a sales 700 plus. It means between 700 and 800. It's 400, and you are gonna see it exactly number 2179, etc., etc. You can see every single child ASIN sales. Okay, let's go to another listing. If you would like to see any other listing, I can reverse it. And just imagine this listing or this listing, and there is Chrome extension, reverse ASIN. We can run reverse ASIN, and first of all, we are gonna bring all the keywords, what the keywords this ASIN has ranked, and you are gonna see all the keywords. And also you can see traffic, like this ASIN, particularly this ASIN get its 25% traffic from trike keyword, and all of them are organic. When we go down, here you see folding trike, it's 100% sponsor traffic. And sometimes we are gonna see, just let's run for another keyword. We are gonna see different ratio, like some of them organic, some of them paid. Like let's check out this one. This is mostly organic too. But what I wanna find any, let's check which one, maybe this one. I want to show you a different percentage of the sales, like 20% ad, 75%. Sorry, I couldn't find it, but it's very obvious. You can find that traffic, any single keyword brings to ASIN, any single keyword, and it's working much more better in USA. Now I run it in UK. Sometimes it's mix up, but normally you can detect any. Firstly, try for your own product and then be sure how it's working, organic and the paid or whatever the traffic you would like. And lastly, I would like to show you there are several products and we need to compare our sales with others. There are 724 products and the monthly units sold overall. This is market cap overall. And then we can understand the ratio. It's also very easy. Click here to analyze and then analyze now and view it now. We are gonna pull all those sales and they show since 2022, all sales are going slightly up, but it seems there is a seasonality here as well. And this is listing concentration in terms of sales. The first guy gets what's 30% of total sales and the 16% of total revenue. And you can see different products here, different product sales ratio. If you notice, there are two colors, one orange and one the purple color. This purple color, you can switch 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, whatever. This purple colors means this product launched within 12 months. If you would like to see last 6 months, just switch it. And you can see from here, and it gets 3.37 monthly sales proportion. You can switch from here revenue to understand what's going on with the revenue. Same with brand. For example, there are 2 products under this brand. What the products they are, you can click and see those products from here. Same like sellers concentration, Amazon FBA or vendor. This is A+, and this is distribution of the different countries. There are 14 guys from UK, 8 from China, and 8, what's the number? Sorry, I cannot say, 3 from USA. It's very unlikely. First time I see UK sellers are much more than Chinese or American seller. Most probably it happened because of Europe. If you would like to see launch time, 11 products launched before 3 years. And this is the time frame, different time frame products launch. In 2024, 4 products already have launched, and most probably it will be more than last year because it's already 4. And if you go down to analyze, you can analyze price, price range, also rating range, and also review range. Like majority of the sales, just exactly 72% of the sales done by the seller who has over 500 reviews. And this is always, we say, it's launch effect. Between 150 reviews, there are many more sales, but you see if we go down over 50 reviews, their revenue and the sales are dropping down. So this is basic view. You can dive into and analyze SellerSprite more. If you would like, guys, a free account for trial, you can message me or mail me. I can create free account for you for several months. You can use it for the business to understand, is it working or is it good or bad? Then you can decide to use it in long term and pay. Thank you again.
Thanks, Yalchin. Great press. Martin, I believe it's our last presentation for today, and then we'll jump to Q&A.
So thank you everybody for sticking around. I know we're almost near the hour, so let me just share my screen real quick, go through this, and then we get a chance to kind of answer some questions here. But fantastic presentation so far from everybody. Hopefully everybody's getting excited about the opportunities when it comes to expanding into Europe. So for those who haven't met me before, my name is Martin Zerrudo, Director of Enterprise Brand Development at Quartile. I ran an Amazon agency for 2 years, scaled that to over 7 figures. In terms of brand experience, I've worked with Medline, which is a $17 billion med tech company, OVO, which is the rapper Drake's clothing brand, Death Wish Coffee, which is a leading coffee brand here in the States. Boosted Commerce is one of the top funded aggregators that are still kicking today. I know some of them kind of fell off. And in terms of the breadth of work that we did with them, managed the content, the creative, managed their Amazon account, governance, and then on top of that, obviously paid media. Been in the space for about 10 years now, probably spoken at over 100 of these things, and excited to talk to you all today. In terms of our relationship with Amazon and how we leverage that relationship to help you particularly expand into EU, just this year, I was speaking to their team and to the reps and talking about how to grow brands at the Amazon Chicago office, the Amazon Seattle office, the Amazon DC office. We're going to be at Amazon LA office in October. And for those of you who happen to be stateside that are going to be at Accelerate in Seattle, we're going to be there as well. Happy to kind of continue this conversation with you in person. And also at Unboxed in New York in October, if you're going to be there as well. Have the pleasure to be able to speak at that event as well. So ultimately, if you've never heard about Quartile before, real quick, before we get to the topic, what exactly makes Quartile different? Number one, our technology. These A's over here are actually awards from Amazon. So they've awarded Quartile's algorithm with performance growth, scale technology, technology innovation. All of our tech is proprietary, and how we utilize this AI machine learning is how we're going to talk about expanding brands into EU today. On top of the technology, we have over 350 employees. We manage over $2 billion a year in ad spend. And really the main key point to point out here is that we're in 26 different countries, 5,000 plus brands connected worldwide, which means that the breadth and the efficiency and the capability of our technology and our platform really is something that should be considered and is considered and used for brands that are expanding into the EU, which we'll go over now. So today we're talking about how can AI automation boost your Amazon ads, particularly when you're thinking about expanding into to the EU market. So I think, as we listened to all these wonderful thought leaders about all the different solutions that they can provide, there really are 2 main considerations that you should have when thinking about expanding into the EU, right? Number one, obviously, is how do you tackle the localization and the language challenge, right? There's going to be some countries in the EU that very much you can serve traditional English the way that you're doing in the US and Canada. And there's going to be some countries and some, localizations that require a very specific approach in terms of strategy, not just with your packaging, not with your detail pages, but also with your ads in terms of language. So number one, how do you tackle the localization and the language challenge? And then number two, obviously, is the risk investment. You're obviously allocating a certain segment of your inventory to ship to the EU to hopefully see which countries end up hitting, which marketplaces end up gaining some traction, and then ultimately your ads. How do I invest and how much should I invest and where's my investment going in terms of trying to create some sort of traction, traffic, and funneling some attention towards entering into these new markets where some of these incumbent brands have been for a long, long time. Okay. So let's tackle, understanding localization and language. In order to tackle that, we first have to understand how do we go from a manual approach to managing ads to an AI automation approach to managing ads. So everybody starts here. And that's not a bad thing. We all learn and we start off on the manual side. We log on to Seller Central. Maybe we're utilizing super awesome tools like SellerSprite, and we're doing a lot of different things to understand how to create ads and how to serve our customers. Great. Once you've graduated from manual, you start utilizing some form of rule-based optimization, which does have some automation where you can say if X happens, then I want Y value to change. The challenge with rules-based automation and optimization is, again, it's still very subjective. It's not necessarily learning dynamically. It's really just based off of your manual assumption on what you think the X value should be, what you think the Y value should be, and what your assumed results will be based off of those rules. So most people kind of stop there, and where Quartile keeps going is where we introduce some of that machine learning and AI. Now, what you see here, Quartile 1 campaign import, just means that if you wanted to start utilizing Quartile today, you have the option to import your campaigns, and we can turn on our automation on top of that. It's very, very seamless. It takes about 48 hours to migrate that information. Or if you want to be super duper granular, then we would recommend Quartile 1, which is our, I guess this is what we're known for, is a single ASIN, single keyword, single match type campaign structure. So now we know how we go from manual to AI. How do we address the local and language challenges through certain automations? Okay, well, what actually is being automated by our AI? So there's a lot of things that you can do to automate in terms of your ads, but the 6 key areas that I wanted to focus on really is the bids, the budget, the placement, and then your keyword negation, promotion, and then campaign creation and optimization. So if you're doing any kind of manual or rules-based optimization, these things are not happening dynamically. Your bids throughout the day are not necessarily changing dynamically. How we utilize our automation when it comes to adjusting your bids, budget, and placement is very different from something that's called day parting, where you would create a rule and say, hey, on this certain time of day, during this day of the week, I want these things to change in terms of my bid, my budget, or my placement. Again, it's still very manual, still very subjective, and there's a lot of assumptions without any information coming through. Whereas on our platform, your bids are adjusting throughout the day, throughout the week, your budget is being allocated throughout the day, throughout the week, and your placement is being adjusted, top of search, rest of search, product detail page, throughout the day, throughout the week, based off of the information that we're getting. On top of that, we're promoting and negating certain keywords that are converting or not converting, and we can set those thresholds for you. We can utilize custom rules to make very unique use cases depending on the country and the product in which you're serving these ads for. And then ultimately, we can also automate the creation and the optimization of your campaigns. Okay. So here comes the really cool part. If you want to take a screenshot, feel free. I know we're going to be sending out this deck, but how is the AI learning? Usually we get this question, well, it's kind of like a black box. What's the, we'd love some transparency. What exactly is happening? What actions are being taken? What data is being considered? Is there a hierarchy to the automation? Well, here's the answer to those questions, right? And this really answers the localization and language challenge, primarily by the way in which our algorithm is supported through AMS in these different countries. But let's start at the very beginning. So what is the goal? If we were to talk to a brand today and say, hey, we love this webinar, Martin, love to utilize all of the tools here today. We want to use Profasee, we want to use your SellerSprite, we want to use everybody who is talking today is great. We also want to use Quartile. Great. So then what we would say is, all right, well, what is your overall goal? When you're entering into the EU market, are you prioritizing efficiency, where you really want us to maximize every dollar that you're spending on ads in these different countries? Or is it budget, where you've really earmarked a significant amount of expansion money and you're saying, hey, this is our budget every month, or we want to see where this budget can go based off of these countries? Great. Depending on what your goals are, we now start talking about, well, what is the data that's being considered? Most of the time people pick efficiency, so we're targeting towards ACOS. And then the data considerations are really, really cool. Number one is Amazon marketing stream data, which essentially is information that's coming through Amazon every single hour that is telling us certain KPIs like conversion rates, cost per click, so on and so forth. This information is crucial when it comes to answering the second challenge, which is investment, right? Your ad investment. How do I make my investment super efficient, knowing that there's a challenge with localization and language? As of today, here are all the countries that are supported by Amazon marketing stream data that we are ingesting into our platform. So countries in the EU like Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Poland, Spain, Sweden, Turkey, right? UK, and expands into other areas like UAE and Saudi Arabia. And so there's a lot of opportunities here to leverage this information, knowing that even though all of these countries may be speaking different languages, the universal language that we're talking about here is the data that's coming from Amazon. So that erases the barrier of, well, how am I going to serve my ads if I don't speak the language? Our platform solves that through the utilization of Amazon marketing stream data. And that data is coming in every single hour. So whether you have people who are awake in Belgium, people who are asleep in Spain, and customers who are looking for a certain product in Italy, it doesn't matter. Our algorithm is able to adjust and automate dynamically. We are connected to various APIs, the Amazon Advertising API, Web Service API, Marketing Cloud API, Seller Partner API. So we're utilizing as much information that we can get to Amazon to solve the localization language challenge and making sure your investment is taken care of. Okay, outside of the information from Amazon, we're also looking at your historical campaign performance. So say you're already crushing it in the US and you want to crush it in EU, and you want to see if your campaigns that you're running that are live today will translate to these other markets. We're able to ingest those campaigns, use the last 3 months of data, and then layer on the automation on top of that. Thirdly, statistical relevance. So we're factoring in Amazon's information, we're factoring your brand's information, and now we're factoring in our algorithm's learnings. So we've been around for almost 7 years now, and every second of every day that our algorithm is running, it's learning to be more and more and more and more efficient. And so in terms of a head start and having first mover advantage, you're utilizing an algorithm that's been learning for almost 10 years, right? And so when we determine statistical relevancy, that's when we and our proprietary algorithm has identified, outside of AMS, outside of your campaign performance, there are certain triggers that we know we can leverage in terms of managing your ads to make them super efficient. Okay, so we know what the goal is. And I apologize if I'm talking too fast. We know what the goal is. We know what the data that's being considered. Okay, well, what's actually happening? Well, here, like we talked about, are the different machine learning automated actions. We're adjusting the bid, budget, placement, campaign creation, optimization, negation, and promotion of keywords. All of this is happening dynamically throughout the day, whether you're running one campaign, 100 campaigns, 100,000 campaigns, doesn't matter, right? But there's also an AI automation hierarchy. So when we start working with you, we set an overall account level ACoS if the goal is efficiency, and say, hey, I don't want my ACoS to exceed maybe 20, maybe 25, maybe 15. It just depends. Once we set that account level ACoS, you can be even more granular and say, hey, I have certain products that fit into one category and another set of products that fit in another category. We can create portfolios and set different goals to automate depending on what those portfolio or categories are. So we can be granular in that way. And then we can be even more granular on top of that by campaign and even by ASIN level if you're utilizing Quartile 1, so that we can have specific automation goals for specific products and SKUs. And then ultimately your custom rules will supersede all of this. So at the end of the day, it's really a loop of information that's coming in, machine actions that are happening automated throughout the day based off of the hierarchy of the different goals that we set. And these human intelligence considerations means that it's not a set it and forget it. It's not a self-service tool where I'm going to go in there, make a couple of changes, and then I'm going to come back in 2 weeks and see what's happening. The reason we've invested in over 350 employees worldwide is because we want to make sure that we're telling the algorithm what to do and the algorithm isn't telling us what to do. Right? Especially if you're going to be expanding into the EU, there's going to be certain localization and language considerations that should be part of your strategy before you start leveraging AI, and we can totally help you in that regard. So ultimately, when we start talking about automation, we need to know, well, what is the value? Great, Martin, all these things are happening in the background. You're making 1 million bid changes and 1 million placement changes and 1 million budget changes. What does that even mean for my bottom line? Well, this screenshot over here is actually what Amazon Marketing Stream looks like. And what you're seeing here is a heat map based off of conversion rate data that's coming directly from Amazon. From Monday to Sunday, 24 hours a day, the fluctuations in your conversion. And what is actually happening on our platform is we're ingesting all of this hourly information. And this can be information from Italy, it can be information from Germany, it can be information from Spain, it doesn't matter. Based off of the conversion rates of your ads, we are dynamically adjusting the bid, the budget, the placement to maximize during hours of the day where maybe there's a 33% conversion rate. We're going to add more budget. We're going to increase the bid. Maybe there's areas where people are asleep, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Then we want to lower our bids, because why would we invest in areas where we know there's a less likelihood of conversion? So all of this is happening dynamically. And even though it may look like 1 or 2 percentages, if you add them all up, here's a chart here to kind of contextualize that. You make 1 change a week, it's 52 changes. 1 change a day, 365. If we're doing the hourly bidding approach, it's almost 9,000 changes in a year. That's 9,000 opportunities for more margin, 9,000 opportunities for better conversion rate, 9,000 opportunities to be even more efficient in capturing a new audience in the EU. And so ultimately, we're here to position you for success when it comes to your ads, regardless of which country you're working in or you're selling in. The typical result you can expect if you start working with Quartile, we actually did a case study where we took 2,500 plus clients, and we asked the question, what happens 4 months or the 3 months after they switch over? Typically, we see a 30% reduction in ACoS within the first 3 to 4 months. We see a 15% increase in conversion. And here's what we see in terms of trajectory of ad sales. The first month, we need for the algorithm to learn 4 to 6 weeks. So there is going to be a slight dip in the ROAS. That's where the algorithm is learning. Bid, budget, placement, where are the best keywords and promotion and negation thresholds for us to really make the most amount of conversion. After the first month is where the magic happens. Ad sales go up. Ad spend could also typically go up, but so does the efficiency, which is super duper rare. And all of this is made possible by working together collaboratively to understand, well, what is your overall goal? How do we, connect and make sure that we have all the data that's being considered? And then how do we let the automation make you as efficient as possible? Here's just a quick screenshot where we're also able to track profitability by ASIN. So we could even talk to you about, hey, not only are we serving these really great ads across these different countries, here's the margin that it's bringing towards you. So this actually works really well hand in hand with tools like Profasee if you're really focused on the profit side of growing your business and expanding. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Ultimately, if you want to learn more, please reach out, martin.zerrudo@quartile.com. Would love to talk to you more, both in person and online. I've had the pleasure to know some of these guys that spoke here today. Wonderful people. So if there's any opportunity to work with either all of us or any one of us, you're definitely in good hands. And yeah, please reach out on LinkedIn. I'd love to touch base and learn more about each other. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Martin. Actually amazed by how much technology you bring into the Amazon game. Sounds cool.
Yeah, thank God I'm not the one that's running the technology. I'm just talking about it. You don't want me to be the ones running it.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, guys, let's jump to questions and answers. I'll just read out some questions, and first one goes to Accel Club. We have a question: what products, brands do you work with distributing? So we're actually taking established Amazon.com sellers. If you have more than 1,000 reviews, ratings on your product, you can reach out to us. We will evaluate your product's potential in Europe, and we can definitely work something out. Second question: what happens if I want to manage the products further myself? So yeah, that's like a good question. We have a very flexible contract, and the only thing that we ask sellers for is to give us time to sell out this the inventory, because we're fully invested in inventory. And as soon as we sell out, you can take over the sales and actually start selling on Amazon Europe yourself, while keeping the same positions that we've built and keeping all the legacy that we built for listing. Chad, I think next question is for you. How does Profasee balance the trade-off between maintaining BSRs and maximizing profits? Can you please uncover that?
Yeah, so the model gets trained very similar to Quartile. We have a hyper learning process where we get a sense of how Amazon customers and competitors react to those price changes. Now, if you choose to maximize profit, we have other choices you can make for goals or intentions for your SKUs. But if you choose to maximize profits, that's the number one goal. But there's a secondary goal where we made sure it doesn't actually change your BSR negatively. So the model is not willing to sacrifice your BSR for profitability, but we're going to make price tests and understand how sensitive BSR is to your price.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. And the next question also to you, Chad. How much on average do your clients see increased profits of using the AI-driven pricing tool?
Yeah, so typically on average, we see a 10 to 15% lift in the first 60 days. Sometimes it's way more than that. It depends on a whole lot of factors, the category, the ASIN, the pricing power of the specific ASIN, and how good the listing is. But typically we see on average a 10 to 15% lift, and we also make it a no-brainer. We have a 3x ROI guarantee, where we keep working for free till we actually show that ROI. Luckily, no one's actually had to use that before, but
yeah,
we make sure that we help your business become more effective.
Yeah, that's actually like a very great result, taking into the fact that margins actually getting squeezed every year by Amazon.
1,000%.
Okay, next question goes to Amit. Amit, there is a question: why do freight forwarders? Sorry, not this one. What are the key differences between DDP and DDU when shipping into Europe, and how does this impact costs and customer experience?
Right, so we talk about it in the presentation itself, but I would say that shipping to Europe under DDU is the right option, just in terms you as a seller can claim back your VAT back upon the clearance. So I would definitely go by DDU in that case. And yeah, that's the answer.
Okay, understood. And the next question, how can sellers actually optimize their logistics strategy to balance cost efficiency and compliance when expanding their Amazon business into multiple European countries?
Like, that's a bit complex to answer shortly, but I would say that every country in Europe has a different regulations. You have to make sure you are compliant with the regulation on a specific country in Europe. Not to see Europe as a one country, but each country in Europe have different regulations that you need to be compliant to. And I think it's essential to verify this before you even start considering selling into Amazon in a specific marketplace.
Understood. Thanks. That's very helpful. Next questions are to Yalchin, SellerSprite. Yalchin, one viewer asks us if we can analyze variations by sales while using SellerSprite.
Okay. How?
No, I see the question is, can we analyze variations by sales by using SellerSprite? I believe the question, when you're doing X-ray in helium 10, for example, you can't really see accurate data by child ASINs. Is that possible in SellerSprite?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. If you have, guys, if you have the product or keyword, you can say, I can just search and show you. Actually, there is a Chrome extension, variation sales. If you go there and click to variation sales, we are gonna indicate any single child ASIN variation sales. If you run the Chrome extension in search page, Amazon search page, we combine all child ASIN sales and it indicates that sales revenue and the revenue and sale. It's very easy. Just you need to go to a variation Chrome extension.
Okay, cool. And one more question to you, Yalchin. Can we see our competitors' PPC campaigns and keywords?
Yeah, actually, we talked about that, guys. If you have any question on the keyword, maybe you can say I can indicate here live. Any category you are in or familiar with, you can say any.
That's cool. Yeah. And last two questions are to Martin. Martin, can you please
Yes.
tell us what can AI do in Amazon ads that would take a lot of time if done manually?
So what the funny thing is, I had this conversation with an agency who was like, "Oh yeah, we do what you do manually." And technically, if you are connected to Amazon Marketing Stream, AWS API, you would get Amazon Marketing Stream data. But can you imagine, say you're running just the one campaign, your team is going to be awake for 24 hours in the day, refreshing the information coming from Amazon's server to see if conversion rate has gone down. And then you have to make the assumption, well, if conversion went down 1%, what should my bid be? What should my budget be? What should the placement be? Should that even change? Okay, now I've made this decision. Next hour, got to run through that same question all over again. And that's for one campaign. What if the one product has 5 campaigns? And then now instead of one product, you have 10 products. And now you're manually staying up for 500 or so campaigns. And so a lot of the stuff that we talked about here today technically can, in some ways, be done through some really creative manual processes. But at the end of the day, right, the reason we're talking about expansion here is growth. And the killer of growth is time. If you're spending so much time in the weeds, there's no opportunity for you to grow, whether that's expanding into a new marketplace, expanding into a new part of the world, or expanding in the way in which you adopt into your tech stack. At the end of the day, you want to hire people that enable you to ingest new tech stack solutions that will help your people and not bog them down with a million different things that they have to do every single day. Plus, we all want to go to sleep at night. So I'm hoping, that point got across that you don't have to do all this stuff by yourself manually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Or you can hire guys at 3 different continents.
Yeah, exactly. 3 different continents. And then you can meet with them every single time zone. And now you're the one that's not sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next question, can you share some examples of how AI helped to improve ad results and save money?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's a lot of case studies that we have on our website. We did a recent case study. We did a recent webinar, and reach out. Happy to send that information to you, where we talk about utilizing DSP and AMC. DSP is programmatic ads, obviously, that you would do off Amazon, and then AMC is utilizing analytics to understand who your audiences are. And so there's a lot of use cases. The reason why I show that 2,500 clients is because sometimes it's and I'm not saying anybody did here today, but it's easy to rely on maybe 1 or 2 really cool case studies and say, hey, this is what you should expect across the board. Whereas we went the opposite way, and we just aggregated all 2,000 of our clients and said, hey, here's what the results are. Superly interesting enough, if you really want to dig into it, if you go to advertising.amazon.com, which is Amazon's ad website, and you search Quartile, the very first hit is actually a case study that Amazon published about our automation and how you could see the results of utilizing Amazon Marketing Stream with our bidding to see some really compelling results. So that actually gave me an idea. Maybe I should share that for the next webinar if I get the pleasure to talk with all of you guys and present this information again. But definitely you can go on Amazon's website or our website, and all the case study and the social proof is there for sure.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you, guys. I believe that's it for questions. Awesome webinar. We'll send out the recording to everyone who listened and registered for the webinar. And yeah, hope we drove value to your business, guys, today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye. Talk soon. Take care.
Thank you so
Bye,
much,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.